We don't want to join Russia, breakaway Georgian region warns.
Here's a summary of the article.
Georgia's separatist-held region of Abkhazia has firmly rejected suggestions it could be annexed by Russia, insisting that its autonomy from Moscow is not up for discussion. The comments come shortly after the deputy chairman of the Kremlin Security Council, former President Dmitry Medvedev, hinted that Moscow could seek to absorb the two Russian-backed breakaway regions of neighboring Georgia, Abkhazia and South Ossetia. The idea of joining Russia is still popular. And it may well be implemented, if there are good reasons for it, said Medvedev, who has been one of the most enthusiastic cheerleaders of Moscow's war in Ukraine. Despite the presence of thousands of Moscow's troops deployed to Abkhazia in the wake of a series of wars with Georgian government forces, most recently in 2008, officials in the capital said the suggestion amounted to nothing more than a sign of intensifying geopolitical contest. The secretary of Abkhazia's Security Council, Sergei Shamba, went further, pointing out that there are no political entities in the region pushing for integration with Russia. We haven't received any formal requests to join the Russian Federation, and I'm yet to identify any political faction within Abkhazia that envisions such a relationship dynamic with Russia, he went on. Home to around 250,000 people and with its own distinct language, Abkhazia has existed as a de facto independent state from Georgia since a brutal civil war which followed the fall of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s.
This post received a score of 7,200, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Abkhazia is talking as though it's not already just one big Russian military base. Yeah, that is surprising. Abkhazia has been sucking the diarrhea from Putin's ass since time immemorial, and now they're suddenly pretending that they're independent from Russia. Must be rough for those separatists to realize that they were only ever viewed as pawns by Putin to break up Georgia into smaller, more easily absorbable pieces. Nobody in Russia would give a shit if all of them died. That just makes it easier to move true Russians in.
It's weird. They want to be part of the empire because it's apparently so cool, except they don't because it sucks. 2020.
Nobody joins Russia voluntarily. Everyone joins NATO voluntarily.
Greater than everyone joins NATO voluntarily. Russia is making sure it becomes mandatory.
The way Putin's acting, all of Europe except for Russia and Belarus will be a part of NATO.
The way Putin's acting, NATO will evolve into a global defense force comprised of countries around the world, not just the North Atlantic.
I mean, we have pacts with Japan and South Korea. I don't see why we can't just expand NATO to include them. I'm sure there's good reason.
Good time to get all your secessioning done. I hear secession, rebellion, mutinies and insurrection are all half price at Crazy Vlad's discount dictatorship.
I was kind of surprised it wasn't South Ossetia. Doesn't seem like Abkhazia is crazy pro-Georgian though. Might be bloody either way, unfortunately.
Like they'd have a choice.
They do. Ukraine's been doing pretty good standing up to Russia. Other neighboring countries following suit would divide and weaken Russian forces and might just topple Putin's regime for good.
These breakaway regions are breakaway regions just like Donetsk and Luhansk People Republic were. Before those two, Russia was doing this to Georgia. The only reason they do it is to steal land. Support separatists in a region, then take that land for themselves. These two breakaway regions stand absolutely zero chance at self-defense against Russia.
Georgia did defend itself, and lost. The 2008 EU investigation concluded there was no way to assign overall responsibility for the conflict to one side alone. EU's attempt at diplomacy failed miserably. Russia passportized everyone in the breakaway regions, and sealed them off. I am very happy everyone learned from this and united in defense of Ukraine. For Georgia, there's no hope until the new Soviet regime falls.
Oh, so same way they just took passports from people in Crimea and forced them to take Russian passports?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.